Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about guard passing, why there are so many videos on guard passing. We're going to talk about the interface between float passing, high tripod passing, headquarters passing. We cover some of this stuff in BJJ Fanatics video that we did in depth. This is like not exactly a sneak preview, but it will answer some questions because you had some questions about this earlier. All right, so we're down on the ground. All right, so this is a situation that you may find yourself in when you're working like a closer range or tight range passing situation where you're using a headquarters or like a shin pin type position. So what's that look like, okay? We're talking about a situation where we drive our knee forward. Why is this a good place to be? Anytime you can take one of your partner's legs out of commission by pinning it to the floor using your shin, your hand, your foot. Okay, so Keenan Cornelius back in the day used to use this kind of stomping situation to turn the hip and pin the leg. Okay, you see the Rotolo brothers doing things like this, using this leg to stomp. And the idea is that it pins one of the legs and it turns the hips. Okay, so we can do the same thing, okay, out of a headquarters style pass. That's the idea, is when you're putting like you're putting your shin over your partner's leg, it immobilizes that leg. Or even if your partner is bigger than you are, it slows down your partner's ability to adjust and it forces them to favor one side. Okay, once we're here, we have this leg in the way. Ideally, what we're looking to do is to clear it out. Okay, well, this is not a video on how to clear this top leg. Let's just say, for the sake of our kind of to focus on what we're working on today, I give a push, I clear it out of the way. Sometimes it's not that easy and you need to use a push-pull. So I pull a little bit, clear it out. Now from here, we can come forward. Even if your partner's posting on you, you clear your partner's arm using a dragging method, or you pummel to the inside. And however you do it, you're able to get to this position with your hands forward. So when we're here, you might be tempted to take a crossface and an underhook, okay? So that's not totally wrong. Okay, when we get to a position like this, because you know, like if you get to side control, for instance, you're taught that you should use a crossface and an underhook, pin your partner's shoulders. The idea is right, but it's not exactly what we're trying to do. Why is that? Because sometimes when you get close to your partner and they still have this foot inside, it doesn't function exactly as a half butterfly, but you'll often get off balance in this direction. So as I go forward here, I'm trying to come in and I see an opportunity for chest to chest. And then, because my hips start to rise a little bit, he kicks and I lose my balance. And now a bunch of space opens up. Your partner starts to attack. They go in on your legs. They start to elevate you. It creates a whole hassle. So what about this leg? One solution is not to take the bait and pin your partner's shoulders, but rather go into a floating pass series. Okay, the floating pass has you putting your hands on the floor by your partner's ears. And then from here, even as your partner goes to push you away, you can meet one of the primary criteria of avoiding any sweep. And that is keeping your chest towards the mat. All right, when people talk about sweeps, you have a whole, you got a billion different categories of sweeps and different styles of sweeping. What most of them have in common is that sweeps in general will take you from a place where your chest is facing the ground, okay, like I'm passing here, trying to get chest to chest, and he'll turn me chest up. So if he goes to successfully sweep me here, he'll do so by rotating my chest towards the floor. Then he can take his chest from the ceiling down towards the mat. Now I'm on the bottom and I got reversed, okay? So when you're in a floating pass, because your hands are on the mat, you can use your hips to adjust and float over your partner and avoid your partner turning your chest towards the mat. So instead of taking the bait of trying to get close, where we get committed, and as a result, it's harder for us to ride out our partner's hook, we can take our hands, put them on the mat, and now as he goes to lift me, I'm going to play heavy with my right leg, but this left leg is now free to pummel. We can go shin over shin. Okay, we can go into a leg weave series. You have a whole bunch of different options, okay, and we can cover that. We've covered a little bit of this in float passing stuff, and we cover it in the video, the Fanatics video, but the idea here is really more of a conceptual one. All right, we're using this kind of headquarters shin pin position to illustrate the idea that whenever you're on top, it's best to try to keep your chest facing your partner's chest and to avoid, as much as possible, situations where your belly is facing the sky. All right. So when we're here, he's framing, posting all of these things. Maybe I get past the frames. And again, I might be tempted to move chest to chest, but the problem, because this connection prevents us from remaining flexible. We want to put our hands on the floor as he goes to now extend me out. Even if he does manage to move my hips towards the floor, I can keep my chest towards the mat. As a result, we can switch our base and sprawl. We can put a foot behind our partner's leg. Now, our partner's feet are facing the wrong direction. All that's left for me to do is to get an underhook on near side or far side. Now you can move through chest to chest. Now you can start your passes, okay? So when it comes to guard passing, instead of just thinking in terms of pure technique, when we're thinking about how we get around our partner's guard, we have to think about it in terms of both the pass that you're using and then also the thing that you're trying to counter. In this case, it's not pure retention, it's your partner's effort to sweep and create kazushi. If you get too close to your partner and you allow them to elevate you, you have this risk that your chest is going to face the sky. So as much as possible, when we're playing tripod, when we're playing floating pass, when we're playing even body lock, we want to try to avoid situations where our chest is facing the sky, all right? So when we're here, we're moving in on our partner. If we ever feel like our partner is elevating, we can float, okay? If you feel for whatever reason that maybe you don't want to have your arms disconnected, you can take an underhook here. It's usually best not to lock your hands, okay? And instead moving into a high tripod where we still have that same flexibility because of a posted hand to adjust our hips and float or ride over our partner's butterfly hook. So when we're here, as he's posting, pushing all of these things, if I can get an underhook in place and bring my head towards the mat, now even as he posts and push, frame all those things, because my head is on the floor, my hand is on the mat, it's very similar to a float pass. Not only that, but we have this left hand where we can push on our partner's knee. So if he keeps this knee nice and strong here, sticky foot, lifting, pushing, I can use this hand to post and step and drop down into this good passing position, okay? So whether you're using a float pass or a high tripod, the idea is the same. You don't want to overcommit to a chest-to-chest position with a head and arm. You want to try to have at least one arm free so that you can monitor your partner's leg and or widen your base. And you always want to try to avoid letting your partner turn you chest towards the sky, all right? So we had a bit of a mix today in guard passing. Some of it is technical, some of it is conceptual. Hopefully it's helpful for you. All came out of your question. Always ask good questions, okay? All right, thanks so much. See you soon. YouTube knows what you like. If it sent you this video, it probably means that you should subscribe. We'll see you at the next one. There are more great videos ahead. Thanks a lot.